All right, guys. Okay, so this is going to be a full disclosure disclaimer right off bat. This episode's going to be very heavy. For I wasn't expecting it. Our guest Troy, yeah, we started a Zoom interview, which I thought would make this episode different. It turned out to be a little different. Um, Sensitive topic of uh SA involved in this episode. So full disclosure, if you're uncomfortable, if you're uncomfortable with the talk about SA, then I don't think this is an episode you should tune into. We're gonna use this topic to talk about it a little bit and maybe work on some things for the future as we progress with Hurry Up and Wait. All right, with that being said, welcome everybody to another episode of Hurry Up and Wait. And today, Mike's guest is Troy. He is a Navy veteran. And as you can see, we're not at the house, we're not at the barbershop, we're not anywhere but online. I'm in an undisclosed location. I can't really talk about it, but it's not going to stop me from shooting this episode. So, again, Troy, welcome to the episode. How are you doing today?
Thanks. I'm all right. How are you?
Oh man, nothing like working a 12-hour shift on a Sunday.
Yeah. I do not miss those days at all.
Yeah, life of a
Good.
first responder, but it is what it is. I'm not mad. I'd rather have a job than not have a job.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we kind of talked a little bit off camera, but Troy, like I said before, it's only 6 questions. We get to know the veteran. The first question really is who are you? But along the lines of who were you before you were before you joined the Navy? What was life like for you?
I went in when I was 19 or 20. So my life before that was food management and just hustling up, thinking it would actually be a career path. And then it ended up not being a career path and had moved back in with my parents. And they always wanted me to go military anyway. So they said either you get out or you go military. And Air Force had a 1 year delayed enlistment delay.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I'm not spending 2 years in my parents' house. So I tested and went in the Navy and got in for the advanced electronics rate, where you do your A school, C school, sign on for 2 more years and go from E4 to E6, and then you do a total of six. I was under that program.
Okay. And then were your parents prior military?
My dad was Air Force. Yeah, he did one tour.
I think you lucked out not going to the chair force. There's one thing we do on the channel is that we all love all veterans, but we all make fun of chair force.
Of course.
They're the only ones. Like even Space Force gets a little bit more love than they do because
I've never
you
even met
know
anyone. Is there actually humans in Space Force, or is that an alien only? Because I've never
I
met one.
don't I don't know. I just know it exists, and there was a TV show spoofing it. So,
Yeah,
maybe the moon landing never happened. Maybe it did. But I don't want them to cut my feed and get us in trouble. So we'll
exactly.
just leave it at there.
Yeah.
Cool. So then, where'd you grow up?
I spent my first 10 years in Iowa. Pretty idealistic, normal town. My parents would go out on vacation, so they'd take us up north and drop us off at our family's farm. So I would
Okay.
kind of farm in the summertime. It was pretty fun. And
Corn.
then I came here after that, just before junior high school, and stayed here. Well, I've been back, I don't know, 6 or 8 times to Phoenix.
Mm, okay. Okay. All right. So then, cool. That's a little bit about before. What was life during? When were you in? What was life as a doc? Were you stationed on a ship or, did you
Kind of,
see, were you in country? What
yeah,
was life like?
both in country and on ship. Yeah, we were on a sub tender. So I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're like the Love Boat on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, 10 decks above the weather deck. And we were co ed. So we'd go out, we did 3 tours. Two were in the ocean for 14 days, spinning around and coming back. And then one down to Cape Canaveral from Charleston. And every time we came back, we had more pregnant women the next month than we did when we went out. They were catching them everywhere, and the captain would do captain's mast, buck them down to E1, take their pay half for 2 months, and they still would do it. It's like it's 14 days. Keep it in your pants. So, but that was considered inconus, and so I was on the ship for that. And then boot camp for me was bad. We were just where they started doing the training timeout for little Ricky, which is what they called us in boot camp. If it's too much, just tell us. We'll all sit down and kumbaya. Yeah, our DIs got even madder that they did that. So that wasn't pretty. So that was
It's-
really hard to deal with.
They took it out on you guys even harder.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ours were so good. The other barracks would call them, and they'd be like, "All right, you guys stay in this position for 10 minutes. We're gonna go to these other barracks, rip these people up, and we'll come back." Yeah, they were brutal.
That's fun. That's almost like Marine camp, man.
Oh yeah.
I know, because I mean, we didn't have the cards, those stress cards. They didn't give us the phones and none of that. It was just good old fashioned. Um, it wasn't like a Full Metal Jacket, but it wasn't it wasn't hard. Like if you went through stuff in life, you could get through boot camp. But if you were fresh out of high school, I could see this shell shock, like like that's some stuff we did, man. Like we had a whole event where they would the DIs have us all lined up by our foot racks or foot lockers, and then they come in, rip everybody apart, and the first floor, run up the second floor, rip everybody in that platoon, and so on and so forth. We were on the third floor, so by the time the DIs got to us, we were the last ones in our building, in our company. They went one, two, three, then they came down one, two, three. We were the last one. So by the time they got to us, they were blown. I mean, it was still funny as shit. I remember looking to my right, and my buddy's in his foot locker with his rifle screaming, row, row, row your boat. But I'm just like, what in the hell is going on? So,
Right.
boot camp stories and whatnot. But okay, cool. So then, what was service like besides? Oh, yeah, besides women getting pregnant, what was life in country?
It was a lot of TAD for me, temporary assigned duty, because I'd gone into sub duty. So I got the A school, C school, and just before I graduated, luckily, I went out and did a tour. I lasted about 4 minutes. I ran screaming out of it. I couldn't take it. I knew I was kind of claustrophobic, but I mean, I'm on a ship. I can, do this. It's not like I was, but I couldn't do it. So luckily it's volunteer. So I went to the commander that I knew on the base, and I guess he was like the commander of the base. I told him I said, I can't do it. There's no way I can go on subs. So he got me out of it.
Um,
I spent almost a year TAD. They was, oh, you're be a boiler tech. Hold on. Aren't they in the bottom of the boat where it's cramped? Oh yeah, you can't do that. And it's just over and over. So I just did repair jobs, and because I was a PO4 at that time, a petty officer, I ran the work group. So my job wasn't really a job. It was just making sure people didn't run off and do things they shouldn't be doing. That wasn't
like
terrible.
a babysitter,
Yeah, exactly.
babysitter of men.
Yeah. Especially
Okay.
especially that, because a lot of them are just out of boot, and they're just agitated, and if you come down hard on them, they're not going to do anything for you, and they're going to treat you like crap. So you just kind of let them go, just kind of give them the direction, and yeah, it was busy work anyway, so it wasn't like we are building a building or something.
Right.
Yeah, and then
Dude,
I
so
finally got a um assigned pay clerk on a sub because I had top secret clearance. So I
okay.
went down to Mississippi, Jackson, or not Jackson, Meridian, Mississippi, for pay clerk training, and I had uh, a master chief down there molest me, and that really set off mentally stuff I didn't even know. And so I
Oh
was
shit.
there for another like 3 4 months after my graduation for TAD, and then from that I went to the ship, and I was in Charleston for probably 8 months until I was out in '92.
Okay, okay. So I think I heard you correctly. Like he molested you? Like holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like did he get his? Like did they arrest him? Like
No,
anything?
hell no. No, I'm a teenage guy in 1992. Who in the hell am I going to tell, and not be a macho that's, I let some guy touch me. Mentally, that's how you see it. When you look
Yeah,
back on
yeah.
it, it's not how it is, especially him being the Master Chief. That's an E9. But, I didn't tell anyone. Suck it up and just, go whatever.
Damn, dude. Have you have you gotten like help after that? Like, have you talking to anybody? Are you okay? Like, how are
Yeah.
you?
Okay is a relative term.
Yeah, I get
And
that.
pretty good dresses since 92. I've had more than 30 jobs, and I'm on my fourth marriage or finishing my fourth marriage. And I didn't know what was causing all this because I didn't go to the
Right,
VA in the meantime. I didn't even tell people I was in the military for years. I
right.
sold what I could and burned the rest of it. And my soon-to-be ex-wife's like, okay, we're at a problem here. You have to seek help. You are not interacting as you were when I first met you. There's a problem. You have to start talking about it. So I did, and
Hmm.
that's what started trying to get disability again from 13 to 17.
Hmm.
It's typical VA fashion. They said, "Good, you're right. Here's 30% back pay for 4 years. Oh, and then a month later, without even you asking, we're going to bump you up to 70%. Nice. So you robbed me of 40%
Hmm.
for 3 years."
Yeah.
So I've been to their shrinks. I've been to their most of their group classes. I've been to the singular classes, and the way I process it, I guess, is so different than everyone else that it doesn't do anything for me. It's just
Okay.
locked away. What little details I can remember, I could spout them out. I've had friends, mostly women or even some guys, that have been molested and raped, and I've talked to them about it. It just doesn't affect me on the front end. But the back end, it's
Hmm.
killing me with all of these houses and jobs and everything else. So I'm still trying to seek therapy, but it's so hard because a lot of the therapists now are new and they're normal people who haven't even served in the military. So when you try to tell them about a traumatic situation, oh yeah, I was carjacked once. Yeah, that's a little traumatic, but not the same as what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
you know, I'll interview them. I'll get 1 or 2 sessions, and if they're not swearing like a sailor and I'm actually not parroting textbook, I cut them off and say, no, you're not the therapist for me. You're not going to do anything for me. And I've only had
Gotcha.
2 of those from the Navy, and all 4 or 5 VA places: Austin, Temple, and Phoenix, and Tucson that I've been to. I've only had 2 or 3 that were decent, and then they're good because they go somewhere else.
Yeah, and then you're kind of left hanging in the wind. I
Yeah,
get that. I didn't. I had a shrink I was seeing out in the Gilbert VA,
yeah,
and he
that's
was
nice.
solid. He got me through some things, but then I realized he was like, "Well, yeah, no, our time's up, man. I only see you 12 times." Like, what do you mean? I kind of need you for life, and
Yeah,
no, that's it.
I
That's all the VA wants to provide. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that happened, and
appreciate
if
it.
there's any way I can help, I can talk to the other guys on the board. Like I'm associated with Justin and Jason, Veterans in Needs, man. I can ask them. They might have resources. That's the whole reason why we're sitting here talking, right? Because so we can find help for veterans here. Because I'll be honest with you, I thought we were gonna have a normal chat, but all right, Band-Aids off. It is what it is. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
I don't plan on. I don't care about the whole monetization of the page. It's like whatever. Maybe somebody sponsors us. I don't care. My point is that you know what? There's veterans who need help, and this is a way to get the word out because something that we might talk about,
yeah,
like the kid who raises his hand. You're asking the question for the whole class. I don't I don't know if the whole class has gone through your situation, but I know a couple of people when I was in who went through it, not personally, but like my buddy was a sergeant and one of his Marines, something happened to him. I don't want to go into crazy detail, but
sure.
it's stuff like that. So it's like
Mm.
it's a seedy underbelly, needless to say, kind of,
Yeah,
like how you're talking about the whole women getting pregnant. When I was on ship on one of my mews, bro, I could walk you to the corner where there was that one foam mattress, not the mattress, but the mats that we used to sleep on in the fields, right
mm,
there, all dirty, and that was the spot. So
jeez.
yeah, man, dude, I'm sorry, so like, how's life for you now? Like, you know, besides the 30 jobs and everything in your fourth marriage, are you okay? Like, are you able to, are you stable? How's things going, man?
Yeah, I'm able to, I guess, third person it and compartmentalize it. Because when I was telling
Mm-hmm.
one of the therapists about, they're like, you told me that what little you've told me through, the few minutes, because it's a really short thing.
Yeah.
You never said you. You never said me. You was always, this was done, and then this was done. It was always like a third person. I said, that's how I remember it. Obviously, I was there, but it's all just in my head,
Out
put
of
away as,
body.
yeah. So, um, I have extreme heightened awareness, almost like combat. I mean, I go in it somewhere, and the first thing I do is count. exit. Second thing I do is look at potential issues or people who might be able to kick my ass or someone who's looking out of the ordinary who shouldn't be there. I carry all the time, which saved my life one time. And
Mm-hmm.
so that way it's draining. I don't know if you have that issue, but 24/7 when you
Oh,
can't turn it off,
I
it's
sit with
horrific.
the door in front of me. I
Yeah.
sit with the wall behind me.
The
Mm-hmm.
only time I don't is when I have vet friends or friends that I've vetted who are good enough and aware enough. When I see their face, I know something's going on. So I have used them as the canary in the gold mine. But yeah, it's ridiculous. So the eternal drain of that, plus the whole, fuck the Navy, fuck the world. No, everyone's here doing what they want to do for their own use.
Mm-hmm.
I just went through they call it stuck points now. And she tried her best to talk me out of it. I said, screw you. There's no talking me out of it. I have a lifetime of experience of all this stuff happening. That's my experience. That's my life. That's how things go. So I'm not going to cow down and say, no, you're right. There is a possibility it's not it. I'm not saying it's everyone. I'm saying it's my situation. And I have to expect that because if I don't, I get disappointed. Or worse, don't have a place to live or something like so. I'm always thinking that.
Damn, dude. Fuck. Now I really wish we were in person, man, and we could drink and like really like open this up, man. Maybe off clock, I'll find you again. We go to a bar and like, this is always easier around the beer because,
Well,
man,
actually, I can't get drunk. I've
no,
tried it.
what?
I can only drink a couple of different alcohols, and beer isn't one of them. And a
No,
friend of mine found out he was diabetic severely, so he had those three mini, not Jose Cuervo, Don Corleo, no, Don
Julio.
Julio from Walmart or Sam's Club. And he goes, "Here, take them." And so within a hour, I drank half of one of those bottles, the Reposado, however it's said. I walked home and did the testing, and I can't get drunk. I've never been close to drunk with anything. I just never have been. So I never had that relaxing either. So just constantly on.
So, okay, you smoke weed?
Nope. Too afraid I'll lose control. Now that
Oh,
it's medical grade and it can be controlled and how much, and I know people who are experts in it, I'm really thinking about it. But oh
hmm.
no, I'm a control freak. I can't do uh Ferris wheels, roller coaster. No, 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 no. If my foot's not on that gas or on it, I won't do it.
Mm. Well, I mean, fair to each your own. Like for me, I'm a functioning pothead because it helped me to slow down. But now, like, there's two strands, sativa and indica, one's up, one's down. You go too
Okay.
far down, you go way too down in the dark place, but then you go too far up, you find yourself like thinking a million miles a minute. So it's like there's
Wow.
always like that happy middle you want to find. What I would recommend, if it's something you're open to trying, you get yourself like the gummy packs, and
Okay.
then I think they're like 10, if depending on how much they are, because there's some that are 10 milligrams per like a square gummy. You break it into fourths and just eat that quarter. Wait about an hour and then don't just do it by yourself. If you prefer,
No.
if you know somebody who smokes, then they can kind of guide you, and then you chill, and then what happens happens. But you got to make sure. Uh, I would hybrid because it's a little bit of up, a little bit of down. You're right in the middle. That way you don't pull in either direction because I know a couple of guys who were high strung and they tried it by themselves and like way like, yo, you need somebody here to like, yo, chill, sit down, let's watch a funny movie, let's have a whole bunch of like fat snacks right here so we can just pig out and just let the world stop for a couple minutes. But personally, it's my suggestion. I got out 2017. I was firefighting till about 2020, and then from there I just picked it back up, and I'm functioning. Like right now at work, I don't. I need to be full mind, but off the clock, I go home, and I'm uh I'm good. Hang on one second. One of my alarms are going off. We have an alarm here, a fire alarm that goes off and it beeps, but because I got struck by lightning like a year or two ago, it just goes off on its own. And yeah,
That's,
yeah. But
that's funny.
yeah, man, I like. I'll talk to the guys, man, see if they know something, somebody. At the very least, I know we as a group we're trying to do either like a group PT or I know Jason. Like, have you been to Jason's barbershop at all in town?
No. Mm-mm.
Dude, if he's open, if the garage door's open, it's an open door policy, man. You go in, sit down, get a haircut, or sit down and we and talk. So I'll go to Jason's. I was at Jason's house maybe like a week or two ago, and we were watching the I don't know if it was the semifinals or the NHL finals. It was
Oh,
the LA Knights playing I forgot who, but I know I wanted the Knights to lose because I hate the Vegas, not the LA Knights, the Vegas Knights.
Vegas, yeah.
Because fuck LA, fuck Vegas. I hate them, bro. They beat the Panthers. I'm a Panthers fan.
Oh,
So,
well.
but yeah, no, man, dude. If there's
Yeah, I
any
did
way we can help, dude.
fighting for 10 years too. And that helped. That helped
Yeah.
justify when I would come to work with a bag right, this big across, like this thick and this tall of stuff. Plus, what are you doing? And the first time I went on a big call with the last department I was on, we were gone 12 hours from the time we left the bay until the time we got back. And the vast majority of that was off roading, trying to find the victim and what was going on. We ran out of water and food in the truck. We didn't have comms. We had nothing except for the extra stuff that I had bought. And even then, I pumped it up. And the chief's like, we've never had that happen before. So what? I'm still packing for this because it could happen again to me. And if anyone will, it'll be me. So
Yeah,
it's just,
no.
I'm always the third. So it's just something you get used to. And having me think that I'm never going to be that again or that's not going to happen is detrimental because when it happens, then it screws you up. When you fully expect to just do like everyone else and you can't, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, no, I get that, man. But geez, dude, that's intense. So when you were firefighting, were you a part of a municipal or were you like wildlands? Were you
Volunteer. So it wasn't
volunteer?
even, yeah, it wasn't, we were paid volunteers in one of them and the other one we weren't paid volunteers. Yeah.
Was that here in Arizona or up in Iowa? Still in
Here in
Arizona?
Arizona. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that must have been a while ago because I'm not familiar with any more volunteers unless you're like one of the really, really small ones. But even then, like they're starting to cross over. Like I think the Sierra Vista down in Tucson that still does volunteer. One of those down south, I forgot who, but like even they're crossing over. So,
Right. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
hmm So
Yeah.
what's life? Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you're fine.
And I was gonna ask, so what's life for you now? I know you mentioned, you're on your fourth divorce. Like, are you working or
No,
what?
luckily I've got the unemployability, so I'm paid at 100%. And you can get certain benefits for that because the 100% is relative because there's the VA 100 medical percent and then there's the unemployability. So the
Hmm.
unemployability allows me to get a full-time, never expire military ID that you go to the
Hmm.
reservation, like we went to Papago Reservation to get, but
Hmm.
you can't do hunting license for the state because they'll check with the VA and the VA says no. But you get the national park pass and things like which you could get anyway. But
Hmm.
um, and we can get dental too, even though we're not medically 100%. A friend of mine just got it too, so it's really strange line to cross. And right now we both have lawyers helping us, but I'm at 175% and I'm 90%. I have
Okay.
175% actual VA issues logged and accredited by them, and I'm at
Hmm.
90%.
Yeah. Holy shit, dude. You should be at 100
Yeah,
permanent in total.
yeah,
Well,
but see now, see if I had done drugs and been convicted, if I had gone to jail, if I had started fights, if I was a drinker, well, then you fit all the PTSD variables and you go right in. But because I sanely, relatively, pushed through it and tried to have a life and stayed out of trouble, that's one less
you're
thing
okay.
on the checklist. Yeah,
Yeah, you're okay.
yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
wow. So what are you doing, stuff like that? What are you doing for your free time?
I have a friend here who's terminal. So instead of her husband taking off and seeing specialists in Phoenix, she's almost a lifelong best friend. I've just moved here so I can shuttle her back and forth. And then I had another friend that had neck surgery, Queen Creek area, so I was shuttling back and forth helping her. So that's what I'm doing now till either my friend gets a clean bill of health or she passes. I'm
Okay.
just going to stay here next to her and help her and her family get going, and then after that, I won't have any attachments.
Okay, but I mean, if we do like our veteran group meets, man, you should come out and talk, share your story. I know it's not easy. I know it wasn't probably easy coming on here to talk about this stuff, and I mean, like I said, we opened the book and I'm like, okay, we're reading. So like I'm all
Right.
for you coming through. Like even if like I said, the barbershop, to meet the guys. Like
Yeah, I
let's
mean,
hang out. We can find something for you. If you want to feel useful, I promise, like we always need more hands. Always. Like
sure.
I had to work yesterday and our president asked us if one of us could cover down at Duke's, run a raffle, do this and do that. I was like, I can't, I'm at work. And then Jason was with his mom, and it's just you know, we could always use more on the team, and I promise you there'll be stuff to do. And I'm not like busy work bullshit. It's just we're always trying to move forward. We're always trying to think. Like me personally, I'm just out trying to network and get people on. Like I actually I don't really want to name drop, but
Sure.
have you seen the movie the one that The Rock just did, the MMA fighter?
No, I haven't seen that.
Uh, I think it's The Fighting Machine.
I've heard of
It's
it,
a
but
So the man he portrayed in that movie, I've actually worked with him, and I've
oh wow.
and networking, and I've put him in touch with our organization. So we could always use boots on the ground to go out and meet somebody if that's something. If you're comfortable talking to people, or if you just hold something down, man, well, I'm sure the guys will be more than happy. That way, like I know you're busy now with what you're doing, but I mean, I don't think it would be a bad thing, because the worst thing every veteran goes through, and they'll isolate themselves, and is when they go through their demons alone and they're in their thoughts alone, and then I've gone through it. I'm sure you've gone through it. It's just like
Yeah.
you know, and it's there, and then you can't do anything. So what do? You got to get it out. You got to go do something. You got to stay from going into that dark place. So like if whatever happens, I know me and the boys will be there for you. Just reach out. We'll
I
have no
appreciate
problem. Like you're not alone. I know I'm not alone. And like you said, and especially in the generation you grew up with, it was shut the fuck up. Don't go to the VA. You're a bitch if you went to sick call. But yeah,
oh,
those days. Look, the '90s are in the '90s. Like I know Pokemon is popular again.
it's
Uh,
Netflix.
we're back in Iran, and we got another angry white president in office. Whatever, whatever, whatever. You know, but Brittany's crazy. But again, like we're okay. It's okay. The bad people are gone. Not to make light of the situation, but like truth be told, we're allowed, like especially like you said, you're a bit of a control freak. We're allowed to control our destiny. So that's we can do it. But
Right.
I guess with that being said, we learned a little bit about your before, Iowa, growing up as a kid, joining, I think you said 18 you joined, right?
I think it was 19 or 20.
19 or
Yeah.
20, okay. And then what your experiences while you were in, and then like a little bit about you, what you're out, and like how you're helping people, and see if we can help you out too. Advice, have anything you can say, somebody who's like, hey, Troy, I'm thinking about joining, or yeah, if they want to join, what would you tell somebody?
I have two major pieces of advice. One, if you have a problem, and not just, oh, it bothers me, but fundamentally, it just burns your head when your parents tell you to do things that you don't want to do or don't see a reason for it, and it eats you up inside, you might not be a good fit for the military. That was my crawl in my head, is not even boot camp. Once I got out and just, your PO or chief PO, whatever, runs your life. We go out to the water for 14 days and we'd muster. And sometimes he'd be like, hey, we got 5 hours of work for you to do. Well, what is it? Well, we're going to go paint this over there. I'm a pay clerk for subs. Subs aren't docking. We don't, no, you're doing it today. Well, why only me? Because I chose you. Let's go. It's just the whole stupidity of it, and it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens enough. So I always tell them first, if you can reconcile that, then go ahead. And then my second thing is go Air Force and go reserve delayed or reserves, because you can always go full time, and you can always go to a go to another military if you choose to.
Okay. Okay. So you're real big on the Air Force.
Just because
Nothing
it's
wrong
so,
with that.
yeah, and
Yeah.
if you get the most out of it for that. But if you then go boot camp, you're like, nah, this is boot camp. Talk to
You're
a
in
Marine,
college.
to a real one. Yeah.
you're in a college dorm, your own room and all of that. So it's like,
Yeah,
no,
maitre
I get
d.
it.
Yeah,
No, I mean, and truth be told, like I said, like we make fun of Air Force guys, but I mean, I've met some stand up like my buddy. I did a shot because I do photography on the side. I
mm,
shot his wedding, and he was Air Force, but he was like a boot on the ground kind of Air Force. He's like, bro, I wasn't on the planes. I was literally doing this grunt work and doing whatever, whatever. I was like, you're still in Air Force. Shut up, you know. But dude, I
yeah,
love the dude to death. I've known him for like 5, 6 years now. I've shot his wedding, like it doesn't honestly, and I tell this to everybody I meet on the show, it's tribalism, right? When we were in and we had our different camis, I'd make fun of you, you make fun of me. But now we're wearing a t-shirt, we're in society, and it's just like I hate all of these disgusting civilians. I don't give a shit what you are. Like, I don't care. Hold me, hug me, bro, because it's you and me as veterans versus all of
that's right.
these motherfuckers. And it's
Yeah,
just like, ugh.
my female friend in Santan was, lack of a better phrase, Air Force combat. She was security for like I think it was the C-130s. So when it was on the ground, she was M16 and she was on the ground protecting it, and she'd actually seen some action. She went into the VFW in AJ, I think, and they laughed at her like, "Well, at least your DD-214 proved to me that you were on the ground in Iran or Iraq." And she's like, "I don't have to prove anything to you except when I was
Yeah,
in." He just completely
yeah,
doubted her. She flipped him off and walked the fuck out. Yeah, you
yeah. That
shouldn't.
that's unnecessary.
Yeah, talk to someone because I did it to her when I heard her telling stories to someone else. My first thought was, well, yeah, Air Force actually doing something, whatever. But then the guy was a Marine. He's like, hey, were you on Operation blah blah blah? And she's like, yeah. And he says, you were in that quadrant there. I heard about you guys had some really hard time up there. So I'm like, okay. So it independently, at a certain point, I'd have been like, you have to prove to me that you're real, because I'm not
hmm
gonna, if I don't have some sort of proof. So
I think when it comes to that situation, first and foremost, I'm gonna laugh at you, but I don't I don't interrogate and I don't ask for the proof because if you have to stolen valor or say something, you're gonna say the wrong thing at the right time to the wrong person. So it's just like I don't do my research enough to catch stolen valor unless it's a real obvious, like those big fat dudes at the mall where they got everything down to here, and I'm just like, but for everybody else, like I don't. And people at the VFW is not bad. They're just a bunch of old, senile, crusty vet. I can't believe it's Vietnam's not the old war, but
yeah,
those guys, and they just want to tell their story too. But it sucks that the Apache Junction guys fucking had to say that to her because I mean, like, you don't know her story, man. And if you see the DD-214 because you turn it in so you can prove your vet, like you go
yeah,
off of that. Anything else, like, shut up. Like, who cares?
exactly.
But they still got some of those dudes are still, and it's across anywhere, everywhere. They're still the crusty old dudes, and they still, no, I can't believe I'm not going to the VA. I was like, okay, man. Like, I can't believe you got 100%. And it's because I went and I got my work done, unlike you. So who's winning
Exactly.
here? So you can talk shit to me, bro. I'm gonna talk shit right back.
Exactly. They
Okay,
don't
so
respect you.
then, yeah, fuck them. Fuck them. They're closer to the grave than I am. So unless I eat a wall at 120 on my motorcycle, you know, you're good, bro. I can sleep at night. Like, granted, I had my trauma. I struggle with sleeping, but Charlie still not is not in my nightmares. But I don't mean to put them down, like
Right.
all Vietnam vets, but like there's
Their help
assholes
came too late.
everywhere.
Yeah, their help came way too late. By the time the
hmm
first Iraqi war happened, and they started to see all this stuff, and oh well, we need to get some therapy. That was 30 years, 40 years too late for those guys. There's no way in hell they're opening up at this point. So yeah,
No.
they're doomed. Unfortunately, they have no real reason to want to embrace the new techniques and help to do stuff. So I just talk to them when I can, and I've had a couple wives like I'll meet them at Sam's Club, and the wife will come up and say, "He's never talked to anyone about a service. What did you do?" I just told him he got a raw deal because people are spitting on him coming back at the fucking airport, and the guys over there didn't know what the hell they were doing to run the troops properly, and he just started talking more stories.
It's always the same thing. These kids that got the short end of the stick, whether it was one, two, Korea, Nam, it's always these young men and some young ladies who got the raw end of the stick because Like my pappies, or more so my grandpappies who were in Iraq, they're like, yeah, when I got there, we were just in our freaking Vietnam Humvees and tarp. Like there was no armor. We just built it ourselves. And I'm just like, what? Yeah, it is what it is, but it really is at that point. But okay, so then what about for somebody who's in the military? Like what do you have for, hey man, I'm still in. Should I stay? Should I go? What do you got for me? You know?
The first thing I try to tell them or have them think about is, will your job translate? It doesn't do any good to have 20 years of a or let's say 15 years of a military job, no retirement. You come out and you have no skills. That's setting you up to fail unless it's a job you just really loved. So try to find something that relates into the real world, and then after that, look to see if that rate has movability. When I came in 90, between 90 and 92, the advanced electronics rate, uh, I think it's an FT, uh, was my designation, fire control technician for subs. It was so flooded. I had heard E5s that had been E5s for like 6 years, and they almost aced the tests every year, and they'd never get promoted because it's so flooded on top. So I
Hmm.
wasn't going to go anywhere. So things like that you have to keep long. If you're going to even think of retiring in, you have to look at that long term.
Okay. Okay, okay. To kind of sidetrack, can you tell me more about like the sub job you were talking about? What was it that you did to kind of
Uh,
double back?
if I would have done it, it would have been fire control technician for subs. So at the time, they were pulling circuit boards out and resoldering points if they needed to. We would troubleshoot the fire control system from the command control center all the way back to the actual firing mechanism of the torpedoes and missiles, and
Huh?
then we would fire them too.
Okay, I think I get it, but just pretend I'm retarded. Talk to me like I'm a Marine and break it down. I'm chewing on a crayon. Really break it down for me.
So if you're in the command center and the captain says ready torpedo tube 2 and 4, then I would go to my board and hit 2 and 4, and it would tell me that it's flooded, or that it's flooded. And then it'd say open doors, so I would hit the open doors, and then he would say fire 2 and 4. If I hit it and it didn't fire, then we'd fire another tube if he wanted to get the two. They call them fish. Get the two fish in the water going towards our target, and then I, as the fire control technician, would have to go through and find out where our problem is and why tube 4 didn't fire,
Oh,
so that we
we.
don't fix it. Either some of them, they were just at the cusp of doing this when I was in. So some pieces we'd actually take out and solder. Some places we would
Uh,
take the board out, get a brand new board, and put the board in, and then we would
okay.
test it, and then when it was fixed, we'd start back up again.
I don't see how that job would translate out unless you're in your private sector submarine.
It would no exactly,
Captain
and no
Nemo.
job at Grumman or something like that. It wouldn't, because we were at that point the boards coming in we had nothing to do with, so we didn't know how to do that. The few boards that we were soldering, it was just a couple of pieces we were putting on there, so we weren't learning anything to translate. So that job, and that's why I tell them, make sure if you're going to stay in, you have a job that translates, because you're wasting your time if you don't. Unless you know that and you're just okay with it and you're going to do college when you get out. So I got screwed with
Yeah.
that too, because the Montgomery bill only goes for 10 years. And
Oh, oh yeah.
I
You
didn't
weren't there for the post nine
base.
eleven.
Yeah. About 12, 13 years in, I checked. They're like, nope, only 10 years. Do I get my $1,200 back? No, of course not. So one of those things. So I had to pay for my firefighting degree, or cert. So it is what it is.
I know, I get that. I mean, I went post 9/11 and that paid for my fire one and two and hazmat and all of that stuff. So,
Nice.
fuck, dude. That's like, what's scary is like when you hear the war stories of like when dudes are in, but then when you hear the horror stories of how a lot of these guys, again, going back to like the Vietnam dudes, they got chewed up, spit out, and yeah, Godspeed. Oh, by the way, here's a morphine addiction along the way too, and then you hear shit like your story, like, yeah, you got the Montgomery GI Bill, 10 years, you don't use it too bad, yeah, get fucked. And it's just like, where's the appreciation? It's like there's so much money being spun into from our taxes and from everything and from everywhere, cutting this, moving that, and putting into. our military funding, but it was just like a lot of our veterans, a lot of us are just fucking afterthought. I mean, the whole reason why I did this show is to bring light to veterans who are trying to do stuff with their life, who can share their stories, and it's just like,
And this is where a lot of them
we
turn
don't do it.
when they
Yeah,
don't
if
have the
we don't,
resources. They go to the YouTube and look at people, and if they feel the connection that they're honest, they're going to start watching them and getting help that way. Exactly.
and if we don't do it, fuck. Okay, yeah, the VA is going to take care of us. The VA is the first one to tell you, oh, you got PTSD. Here's 30%. Like,
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you're in a red flag state, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. That's scary. Well, I think it's partly because depending on your definition of military, we haven't had a military person in charge in charge since Kennedy. Supposedly Bush Jr. what was or whatever you want to call him with his initials, whatever, but no one could ever verify that. So all the way back to 1962 was the last military person in charge who had any inkling of what it was like. I think
the
that's
one where the one where I think I found slight hope was when Trump in his first term, he put four generals around him, and they were there for what, 6 months, and then he's like, "You're fired." I'm like,
yeah.
what the hell? Like, what was that about? And it's just like, it's what, 10 years ago when that happened. But at the same time, I was like, damn, I thought we were on to something. Like, man, he doesn't know it. He's a business dude and he's trying to put the right people in place. And it's like, you got four generals, like, as his, confidants and in their positions of wherever he put them. I don't remember exactly where anymore. And then, just out the window, I go, well, there goes that, you know?
Yeah. At least the new guy and Hexeth are working together. Did you hear about that initiative they're doing? From the time
No.
they get you in to sworn in to the time you die, they want a one cohesive military VA. They don't want you to, oh, you're separated now. You have to go to VA and get enrolled. No, they want all of it, which is going to be a monumental task because I don't know if you know this, the VAs themselves, the different regions are not connected.
No, I
Only at
know
the
that.
basic computer level are they connected. So like if you go to Tucson and Phoenix, it's like they don't know you.
Oh, I
They
know.
see they see your name and that's it. You're like, oh, okay. So if
Mhm.
they could do that, that would be a huge problem solver because then every person you go to as a new provider isn't saying, okay, give me your story.
Well, something I say simple, but it's not really simple. But like how Banner Health, you got Banner, Mesa, Maricopa, Casa Grande, but they can. Oh, there you are. Oh, there's your records. There's your X-rays. Like, what what do we need to just mirror that?
I
Even
think
if it
they're
was
using
just in Arizona.
yeah, I think they're using servers in each area of like Central Arizona for or Northern Arizona for Prescott and Flag. I think they use servers at that area, and they can kind of tap into it instead of having regional servers where anyone can get it. Yeah, and their software is so old from what the people working on it say. They would almost have to just completely bulldoze it and start fresh,
Oh,
but they'll never do that.
oh no. They
No.
probably rather MacGyver, paperclip, bubblegum and tape that shit and like, yeah.
Now the stupid thing is the companies don't understand. I worked at Amex 2004, I think it was, and they still had as the back of their system was a DOS running everything. If you had an issue, then you would go talk to this guy, and he'd bring up the DOS back door of it, and he would sit there and program something for you to fix it. And they were putting out a new system that was going to be on top of this. I laughed at him. I said, "Have you ever heard of dominoes? Stacking dominoes? After about the 10th one, it starts getting real hairy. You guys are there right now. The system's going to die if you don't figure out something better to put it as a base."
Um, kind of a story like that I heard. I don't know if you watch YouTube or not, but there's this dude called Nerdrotic, and on his page he used to be, because this whole thing he's nerds and he breaks down nerd shows, TVs, and movies and stuff like that. And lately, because Hollywood's been so woke, he absolutely tears into them. But he in his job in his position, I forgot exactly what he used to do when he worked in the machine, but I, he didn't say the studio, right? But you can imagine one of the big fives. They had all this network, this mainframe, this everything, this whole ecosystem, and it boiled down to this outdated laptop in one server room that everything ran through it. And if this one laptop just
Oh my god.
crapped out, that's it. Like the dominoes fell into place, and like there goes. I don't even want to say any big, just picture anyone, man. Whoever's
Yeah,
getting bought out, like their whole thing just goes to shit, and it's just like, but they keep it running because it's working until Windows 98 on this freaking Mac with the blue, the
yeah,
colored background,
yeah.
whatever. Obviously Windows and Mac, whatever the bullshit, but you get the idea I'm getting at, like the
Oh yeah,
one old ass
I deal with both of them,
laptop.
man. I
Hmm.
worked armed security, and between armed security or security and tech, they're always the last to get funded and the first to get blamed. Yeah, when I worked at Apple, I worked in the server area for a while, and the people would be dumbfounded. Well, hold on, wait a minute. Why do I have to do this update? I don't have time for this. You have to do this update because you're 5 updates behind, and for servers, those are vital updates.
Yeah.
You have to put this on. Your system will crash within days. I guarantee it. Well, they'll take the whole system down. Don't you have a backup? No. This one laptop runs the whole. I'm like, oh my god, you're
Yeah.
really. You
Single
might want
point of failure.
to. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's terrifying. But that's
And
how
and
companies run it.
and then I also understand too how like first to blame, even though you're the first one signaling, the smoke signal, because
Pull
when I,
out
I
your
was a
budget.
radio operator.
5 years? See? Yeah. They don't care.
Yeah. When I was a radio operator, we're communications. They didn't see that me and my 9-man team threw up 5, 6 antennas for 5, 6 radios for a single frequency channel. That way we don't have to change and talk. That way we're always in contact. They're just like, "Oh, we're not talking. Why aren't we talking, Derek?" And I'm just like, "Oh, hang on." I was like, "Well, you suck at your job because we're not talking." I'm like, "Hang on. We just pulled up at 4 in the morning. We threw up these antennas in the dark in like 10, 12 minutes, 3 men per antenna bag, and one radio isn't talking. Now you tell me I don't know how to do my job? Fucking butterbar motherfucker." Like, hang
Thanks.
on, man. Like, and then you get it up and you're talking and you did like this monumental like 18 antenna array, and they're like, "Okay, good job."
Yeah.
Like, homie, where's like anything like a hookup? Like when my one of my junior Marines, I personally trained him myself to be my replacement for my weapons company. He was able to finagle some bullshit because of what we've worked on together, and he looked like a rock star because everybody thought we can't communicate, we can't do it, but he was just like, watch this, do 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 do, boop boop. And they gave him a fucking Navy Achievement Medal. And I looked at him, I go, "You son of a bitch." Like that's like the one thing we want as radio operators, because it's like we do so much. But I was like, you know what? I'm fucking proud of you because you got to be the one radio operator in all of history who got a NAM, and it's just like, I'm
Right.
fucking proud of you, dude. But the thing was, it wasn't the fact that he built 15, 16 antennas, had all these radios programmed and talking. He just pulled like a little satellite thing and just do 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 boop boop boop. 10 minutes worth of work, and like boom, we're talking to the whole battalion. It's just like, whatever, dude. I'm proud of you.
But
That's how it goes to show that they don't know what the fuck they want or what they're talking about. You know,
exactly.
it's fucking wild. Okay, cool. Then I think we're kind of, I don't want to say we're speed running. I feel like the conversation is flowing really well, man, but we're kind of at our last question. Like I'm getting out, Troy. Help me out. What do you think? What do you got?
First thing is you tell the corpsman and dentistry and psych every single issue you have. It is not your job to decide what you're going to get or maybe get compensation for disability on. Your job is to tell what happened and let them figure it out. Because, like my knees, I've never claimed my knees, but our DIs made me particular duck walk Quonset huts, those huge, like 150, 200. Yeah, I had to do that 2 or 3 times, a couple of times. My knees are shot, and I just never thought of saying anything about it. If I had, I'd probably get something for them. So things like that, just anything that hurts or possibly can hurt. Or I'd do watch on when I was in Connecticut, and one of the rooms I'd go by, this big banner that said "Caution, asbestos." So first thing I did when they said, "Oh, I've been exposed to asbestos," and they wrote that down. CYA. And then after that, go to the VA, get in, and start talking to vets, specifically ones who've done anything close to what you've done, so you can not when they got out, but when they were in. That way, you can commiserate with them, and on that end, and that will help the transition actually flow way better than dropping you out of a truck and saying, "Okay, here's your civilian life. Good luck," because that's what they do.
Good Lord, dude. And the fact that you get shunned, like, eh, you're you're a scumbag. Why? Because I'm getting out. Like, come on, man. Like, and no, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't get a job, you can't do this. No, 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 no. And it's just like, whatever, man.
Yeah. And then you have to unlearn all your military way of communicating because civilians can't communicate that way. It hurts their
Mhm.
feelers. Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
yeah,
yeah. It's hard.
it is. It's so hard. And like, to this day, I'm working. Like right now, I'm working a day shift, but it's a Sunday, so we only have German guests, but none of the main office people are here, so I don't have to look at people. And I mean, I'm just like before here, I was working on my computer, getting stuff done, minding my business, doing my rounds, and it's just like it's daytime, yes, but the site is as empty as it is during the night, and I'm just like.
Nice.
I can't complain. I won't complain, like when I was with Fire, um, they were the closest thing I had to the military, so it
Yeah.
was cool, you know. And then when I got Wildlands, whoa, we were going on fucking fires and deployments, and I was like, oh, this is military.
Yep.
But the one time I had an office job, I didn't last maybe out of my 90-day trial at day 86, they said, get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah, okay. I don't want to be answering, talking on phones for 8 hours a day. I'd rather
Yeah.
stand posts for 8 hours a day or dig a trench or dig a fighting hole. Like, dude, I could do anything but this for 8 hours, sitting in an
Yeah.
office on the phone next to fucking HR and fucking Karen and be like, Derek said fuck you or whatever. I'm like, shut up,
Exactly.
So fuck
Yeah.
this,
It's hard. Yeah, I did a lot
dude.
of that, generally.
I mean, yeah, dude. Okay, so with that, like, I guess, how would you tell somebody getting out, hey man, how do you deal with this office job? You know, you're gonna look for a job and you're gonna deal with these civilians. How do you deal?
When they put you through orientation or school, you have to take everything they say as gospel. Don't try to change it to military jargon. Don't try to think of it as a military, like, especially now with the whole woke thing. That doesn't work in any way, shape, or form. So you have to act like you just came out of high school and listen to what they tell you. You have to use this verbiage. Use that exact verbiage and act like you don't know anything when you first go in because you don't. You came from a completely different life, and now you're going to another completely different life.
I think something that I learned too was a lot of them want to be helpful and feel helpful. So even if you do know, and you'd be like, oh yeah, no, I got that. You kind of got to read the body, read the room, because if they're like, "Oh, cool, 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 you got it, cool," less I got to teach you, or the person just kind of like, "Oh, okay," then now you just like, I thought I'd make a good impression to my boss because I know the information, but like you said, learn the information because then they'll feel like they're wanted. If does that make sense?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I've seen it. I've seen it with my eyes. Like, wow, dude. Like, I came in mentally, like, I got this. And they're like, you fucking this new recruit or this new fucking employees all know it all. It's like, it's just, I agree with what you say. Just pretend you don't know shit and just,
Yeah, it's just like boot camp, except it's less painful physically. Yeah,
I don't know. I'd argue I'd take the physical pain over that mental pain of like, I have to listen to you tell me how, uh, I, I don't know,
yeah,
man. I used to work at Disney before I joined the military, and my orientation at Disney World was a fucking Michael Eisner tribute and a Walt Disney tribute. And I'm just like, now I wouldn't be able to sit through it. Back then, I didn't know. It was my first job, so I get one of my first jobs, so I get it. But oof, sorry. But I mean, with that being said, man, like you got anything else you'd like to share, talk about, man? We still got a few minutes left. Like,
I can't really think of anything except just you have to trust yourself. You know,
mm,
it's if if you're starting to get up every day and you're going to this job and you hate getting up to go to the job and it's just not giving. You're not making friends or you're not making connections because some companies are like that. I've worked at
mm,
companies for a year and not made any friends except for the guy sitting next to me because that's just their culture, but it gives you no upward mobility because you don't know anyone to get upward mobility with or from. So just kind of look ahead and don't dismiss your feelings on things, because a lot of times it'll be accurate with work and even new relationships. Relationships are completely different in the real world, and especially like women now, there's a lot of them are gotcha. Oh, he said this, and now it's like an essay. It's like, no, screw you. It's you're not even that good looking. I wasn't even thinking that. So you have to really, if you have any common sense, use it, because it'll come in handy.
Common sense, self-awareness, be able to read the room.
Yeah.
Almost like being a chameleon and being able to adapt. It's like the one thing you can take from the military is like be adaptable and be flexible because the military, like when it came to work, you had to be rigid, I guess you can say, because mission accomplishment, we got to get the mission done. But how you got it done was the where you got the flexibility, the how just get it done. Just tell me it's done and we're good. Doesn't matter
Exactly.
how we got it. We don't know how we got the fucking that over here, this over there, but it's done.
Yeah.
But the rigidity was mission has to be accomplished. So,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
not
get
like
it, man.
people are going to screw off and not do anything to get, and they'll still get the same credit and praise as you doing their work. So
Oh
just
yeah.
document everything, everything. When you go to a new place, ask how big their mail server is. If they say it's pretty much unlimited, don't delete anything ever sent to you that's not company wide. Oh, we're having a birthday party for Jim. Anything sent to you, you save. Your sent files, you save, because one day that CYA is going to make it. When you, oh, no, I took this out. This is what it said. And your job
Yeah.
and bacon will be saved for it.
Dude, uh that's all sound sage advice, man. Excuse me, because
Mhm.
you can't stress enough to a lot of guys who get out like it's not over. The world's still turning, and you're about to enter a whole like you're told when to go to dental. You're told when to go to medical. You're told to be here. When you have like all freedom, like in college, to do what you want, that freedom becomes its own kind of entrapment,
Oh,
the procrastination. But then, you know, like some of these jobs, they expect you to conduct yourself in ways that is just like you have no idea, dude. Like I was told to do this. And then on the other foot, the other side, you do your job too well, right? Like a project that takes a week for this team to do, and you come in and you do it in like 3 hours. Now they look at you and be like, stupid. We spread it out. That way we were busy the whole week. And then
yeah.
you look like an asshole because now they're gonna expect the team to keep up with you, and then now your new peers are like, well, no, now he's the new guy wants to show off, and it's like, no, man, I'm just effective because in my head it's like get it done because if not they're gonna scream, and then no,
Yeah.
dude, it's just there's so much out there that just needs to be explained and talked about, and like I feel like this is a platform that like I'm tiny. You're my ninth episode, and I've only had views, like 50, 60 views maybe for one episode, and I'm growing. Dude, I'm a single dad of three, and I'm trying to get this off the ground by myself. Like, I got all the equipment, I do the interview, I have to go, I do the location, I do the editing, get it up on YouTube, all of it. And then, I got three lives that I take care of, and I got to maintain their lives. And then I find out, my son has uh he's diabetic, right? I find out he's diabetic in the middle of me trying to get the channel up and running. And it's
Right.
just like, we're trying to learn that. And then I was just like, holy shit, there's so much of life that I have to handle while trying to get the channel up. But my goal, and like when I got, especially when I got with Jason and Justin, like they've been nothing but tremendous help in helping me get more interviews, you know. Like when you found out about this, because Jason put it on the vet page, and dude, I just been scheduling out, and it's been great. Like now I'm able to tell your story and to get this help out, to get everything out there, dude, is like I said earlier, man. We got to help ourselves because if
Yeah.
not, nobody's gonna help us. And this is word and knowledge that there's kids out there, dudes out there that maybe one day this episode be like, you tell them, yo, cover your ass, keep the paper trail, keep the receipts, because if not, they're gonna be like, well, where's your thing? Well, I don't got it. Well, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
our
Exactly.
military equivalent, if it's not Facebook official, it's not real. And then it's just like, fuck. But dude, Troy, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you. Like, we've only scratched the surface of this story, of your story. And I'm probably here gonna do a little bit of different change of a format, but when that format comes, I would love to have you come back on in person. And well, I'm sure we'll schedule something off camera and figure it out. But like, uh, again, the whole thing with what happened with your Master Chief, I really am sorry that happened. But if it's something you want to talk about more in depth or whatever, I got some things that I'm trying to work on and figure out. I'd love to have you back because
Yeah.
there's a whole like everybody sees the war, everybody sees the fighting, but people don't see that dark shit. Like something as simple as like the guy who goes out in Thailand and offed a fucking a worker because it turned out she was a man, and stuff like that, things that are not meant to be seen. But the beauty of this is that nobody's here to censor us. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not like YouTube can't demonetize me. I'm not here trying to make money. It's just stuff like that where, like that's huge. Just things that need to go out. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. That being said, I appreciate you. Thank you. After we get off of here, like, we'll talk a messenger, have you come and like once you're done with what you're doing with your friends, when they get better, because positive vibes, they're gonna get better. Come back, hang out, man. Get to know the team, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure we'll find something for you to do. Because the last thing I want to see you do is the last thing I want to see anybody do is sit alone in their thoughts, And especially when like you got a lot of free time, and like I myself, I'm going through a divorce. I don't know what it's like to go through four of them, so I got questions for you about that, but not for this this channel.
Right.
But
Yeah.
again, Troy, if you got any parting words, man, if you got anything you want to plug, by all means, share. If not, it was a blast to have you.
No, I don't know. Just good luck with your podcast. I think it's a great idea. If anything
Yeah,
I can
man.
help anytime, just let me know.
Definitely. Well, with that being said, everybody, thanks again for joining us in this new episode of Hurry Up and Wait, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Bye.
Sweet.
Well, guys, not only was that like a Zoom chat, but it was a very, very tough topic to talk about. That being said, Troy, thank you for coming on the show and sharing that very traumatic experience with us. And yeah, we look forward to helping you. And for the rest of you guys who stuck it through and hopefully learned something, just know we're here to share your voice and we're here to help you guys get the word out there. Good, bad, and different. We're here to help. Again, thank you again for joining us and hurry up and wait.